Hello everyone and welcome to Across the Gridiron. And hold on, I gotta put my glasses on because I need to see all your um the Cowboys got smacked 47-9 by the Detroit Lions, and it stings. It's no sugarcoating it, at all. And listen, today is going to be full of, lots of outlets, lots of media, just talking about the Cowboys, talking about how bad they are, and talking about how, the season is lost, talking about, how terrible Jerry Jones is and the Cowboys are not contenders and all of that stuff. You're going to hear plenty of that, right? But that's not why you clicked on this video. Because I'm going to be taking a different route. This is not about getting on the doom and gloom bandwagon because that's easy to do. What's not so easy to do is to look at an alternative view about what the score line is for the Dallas Cowboys. And that's what I am going to break down, for you today. There is a different view, to look at this Cowboys. And listen, right? I'm hurting, right? Cowboy fan, I'm hurting. I feel what you guys are feeling, but I think there is a different view to look at all of this. So let's get one thing straight. Bad losses happen to every single team in the NFL. There is no team that is immune from a bad loss. I remember 2021, Titans versus the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, they lost 21-3. Right? And what did the Chiefs do? They just went ahead and went to the AFC Championship. And I know before you start talking, the Cowboys have not been to the AFC Championship in forever, right? But teams get blown out. New York Giants, 2017, same thing. I think they got blown out as well. I think it was like 41-17. For some of you that are New York fans, you might, check me on that. But they went ahead and won the Super Bowl. So bad losses happen in the NFL. There's no question about it. And the real question is like, what do you do, right? So let's hold on. Let's hold on. Think of last night like a fighter getting knocked down. And boxing fans, you can relate to this. You're watching a fight and you're like, okay, this guy is winning on points. This guy is winning on points. Or, this guy gets knocked down in the first couple of rounds, right? Most recent example. Remember Tyson Fury? Remember that fight? Wilder? Remember that fight? He got knocked down a couple of times. And, you're watching that. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. But what did he do? He got up and then he won. And listen, I'm not trying to be overly, philosophical here. But, the Cowboys got a left hook that sent them to the canvas. There is no question about that. No sugarcoating that. That loss by Detroit Lions was ridiculous. And talk about a team that was really motivated. And maybe there's not a lot said about, motivation, with teams, because just last season, the Cowboys sneaked out a win, against the Lions. And a lot of people felt like the Lions should have won that game. The Lions felt that they should have won that game. Remember what happened, the sequence of events, Decker, declared himself eligible, and then, the ref said that he didn't declare himself, and all of that kind of, the Cowboys got a reprieve and they won that game. So the Lions circle this game in their calendar. There's no question about it. Because if you look at the way that team came out, even when they were 35 points up, they were playing like as if they were 10 points down. That's how the Lions were playing that game. So, I'm not quite sure if the way that they got up for that game, I'm not trying to down the Lions, but I don't expect that in the next game. I think there was way too much emotion and physical energy that went into that game. But this is about the Cowboys. So let's be honest, right? The Cowboys were knocked down. Let's not gloss over the East issue. The offensive line struggled, and this for me is not a death sentence, for the Dallas Cowboys, because they struggled. The line struggled. They couldn't get in the trenches. The offense was, I mean, they had those two drives, and I feel like if they had that touchdown, that true interception when he was trying to get CD, it's probably now maybe about 2 or 3 interceptions trying to get CD in the end zone, um, that he's thrown. But for me, I think that this is not a death sentence. The Cowboys are still within position to win the division. Let's not mince about it. They can still take points off the Washington Commanders because they play them. They've taken points off the Giants. They can take points, wins off the Eagles, as well. So they're still in good positioning for the playoffs and could still win the division, right? I'm not saying that they're going to do that, but I'm just saying that one game is not enough, to put the nail in the coffin for the Dallas Cowboys, because there is still a lot of the season left and a lot can happen. We're 6 games in. We are 6 games into the season, and there's a lot more that can happen. I just think, you've got to have patience, right? You've got to have patience. To my next point, right? This is not trying to be inspirational or anything, but I know that people want a lot of quick fixes. They want quick answers, quick changes, and that's how the NFL is. You only need to look at the Jets. The Jets went to London, got their asses given to them, came back, fired the coach, and we've seen that a lot in NFL. But the reality is that you've got to allow the team to figure this thing out for themselves. This is a wake-up call, for the Dallas Cowboys. There's no question about it. And, there's a lot of things that you learn, in a loss like this, and that you actually, learn with a win. Just remind me of a personal story, right? I remember, very early on, in my own career, I work in IT, and, I was learning the ropes, and I was, doing a couple of things, doing what you do, as a young, guy just starting out his career. And I had this task that, I was going to do. So I did the task and, make sure that everything was right. And listen, right, I didn't realize that, for those of you who, might know anything about, IT and all that, I don't want to go into too much detail. But I didn't complete a particular checklist, right? There was a particular, item on the list that I didn't complete. That took out the operations of the business for a number of hours, and everyone was frantically, running around, to figure out what was the problem. And I didn't think I had done anything wrong. I didn't even realize that I had missed something, listen, I had, checked and checked and checked, and I thought that was right. That was a real down point in my career. Everyone, all the big bosses came in. I literally thought I was going to be fired. I really did. And I probably should have, considering what happened. But what it did, and I think, my boss recognized, something, in me, and he saw something, and he felt, actually, this could be a learning point, for me. And trust me, I was the most willing, employee, for years, right? I felt like I owed something to the company, because they could have kicked me out, but they allowed me to get back my confidence, put me on new stuff, and I excelled and excel, and years, in history down the line, I've got an amazing career, gotten to the top of my career. So I feel like, the Dallas Cowboys have an opportunity to work things out. I'm not saying that they're going to, but in NFL, patience is required. It is required. Let the team work things out. They're going on a bye now. On their bye, they get a chance to figure out how they got it so wrong. Micah Parsons comes back, DeMarco Lawrence comes back, Deron Bland comes back, and maybe they start to look at this running game. Maybe Zeke's not the answer. You got Dalvin Cook in a practice squad. Maybe he comes in. Maybe he starts to change things. The Dallas Cowboys, everything that Dak Prescott throws is in tight windows, right? There is no separation whatsoever. And there's a lot of miscommunication, between Dak and CD. But hey, wasn't that expected? I don't know what anybody thought was going to happen when CD missed the whole of camp, missed most of the offseason because the Dallas Cowboys did not pay CD, right? Look at what's happening, in Cincinnati Bengals, right? Pretty much almost all the guys that, didn't start the camp with held out for whatever reason, they're not exactly lighting, the world on fire right now. So there's all of that, to be considered. So I just think that, let the Cowboys have patience to work this out. And who knows, what this could actually mean for the Dallas Cowboys. So Cowboys Nation, right? Don't let this bad loss, define you, right? Don't let the media, infect you, because they're going to go out hard at it. Everyone is going to break down the Cowboys, analyze them, up until Thursday, when the next game, kicks in. And listen, right, I'm not saying that things are going to get better. Cowboys go on a bye week and then they come back. But hey, this could be just what the Cowboys needed, at this point of the season where they can actually do something, right? So, let's stick with this together. Let's be optimistic that the Cowboy organization is going to figure something out. They've got time. They've got about 2 weeks to figure something out. And I'm sure they're going to figure something out. And hey, next couple of games are going to be tough. But remember, bad losses happen. Understand that. Yeah, I was talking to you. Bad losses, happen in the NFL, right? And don't let anybody tell you any different, right? The Cowboys are no different. They stepped into it, got their handed over to them. But it's a long season. It's a long season. Cowboys can definitely go on a run. There's no question about that. You can't go on the run. This league, as difficult as it is, no one is going to go undefeated. Even the Chiefs are not going to go undefeated. They're going to lose a game here or there, right? And yeah, people might say it was such a bad loss, but it was just a loss, right? And I think with the injured players coming back, Cowboys a chance to get back into the lab, figure this thing out. I think Cowboys will be, stronger for this. Hey, listen, keep up the faith. Let's not let this ruin. And thank you for, joining me today. I appreciate you on Across the Gridiron all the way from the UK. Please like and subscribe, and let me know, how you feel about that Dallas Cowboys loss. And I'll see you in the next one.